Murad I, the fourth Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, ruled from 1362 to 1389, a time when the empire was undergoing significant transformation. His reign was marked by groundbreaking reforms, especially in the military and administrative sectors, which played a crucial role in the consolidation of the Ottoman state. Before Murad I came to power, the Ottoman military was largely based on tribal warriors, and the administrative structure was decentralized, making it difficult to manage the expanding empire. Murad recognized these weaknesses and implemented a series of reforms that would not only strengthen the military, but also centralize governance, allowing the empire to thrive and expand for centuries to come. One of Murad I's most important reforms was the establishment of the Janissary Corps, a professional standing army that would become one of the most powerful military units the world. Before Murad, the Ottoman army was composed mostly of tribal militias, which were irregular and often lacked discipline. The tribal warriors fought in a manner that suited the dynamics of their time, but as the empire grew, so did the need for a more structured and reliable fighting force. Murad's vision was to create an army that could be mobilized quickly and efficiently, regardless of local circumstances, and that could be counted on to provide loyalty solely to the Sultan. To accomplish this, Murad introduced the devshirme system, a practice that involved recruiting young Christian boys from the Balkans. These boys were taken from their families, converted to Islam, and then trained in the military and administrative arts. The Janissaries were different from any army that had existed before. They were not conscripted from local populations, but instead were trained from a young age and bound by an oath of loyalty to the Sultan. They became a standing army that was completely under the Sultan's control, and their primary function was to serve the central government. The Janissaries were highly disciplined, well-trained, and organized into different units based on their specialized skills. They were not only a military force, but also an integral part of the Ottoman state apparatus, as they helped maintain internal order and served as a counterbalance to the local power structures. This move toward a professional army was revolutionary. It signified the end of the traditional feudal military model and established a new way of warfare based on professionalism and centralized control. The Janissaries became legendary for their discipline and effectiveness in battle, and their loyalty to the Sultan was unparalleled. Unlike previous Ottoman forces, which relied on feudal lords to raise armies, the Janissaries answered directly to the Sultan, ensuring that the Sultan's authority was never challenged by powerful military leaders. This allowed Murad I to expand the Ottoman Empire with a steady and reliable military force at his command. Alongside military reforms, Murad I also introduced significant changes in the empire's administration. Prior to his reign, the Ottoman system was more decentralized, with local leaders or beys holding considerable power over their territories. The empire was rapidly expanding, and with the growth of its borders came the increasing complexity of governing such vast lands. Murad understood that in order to maintain control over the growing empire, he needed to centralize power and establish a more uniform system of governance. To achieve this, Murad I restructured the Ottoman bureaucracy, reducing the power of local rulers and placing more authority in the hands of central officials who were directly appointed by the Sultan. These reforms were designed to ensure that the empire remained under the direct control of the Sultan and that all regions adhered to the same set of laws and regulations. Local leaders were still responsible for maintaining order in their regions, but they were now under the oversight of the central government. This made it much harder for regional power struggles to threaten the stability of the empire. Another important reform was the improvement of the taxation system. Before Murad, taxes were often collected irregularly, with local rulers determining the amount and method of collection. This system was prone to abuse and inefficiency, as local leaders would often pocket a portion of the tax revenue. Murad introduced a more systematic approach to tax collection, which allowed the central government to maintain a steady flow of revenue. This revenue funded military, campaigns, infrastructure projects, and the salaries of government officials, ensuring that the empire could continue to function smoothly even as it expanded. Murad also recognized the importance of establishing a professional class of administrators who could manage the day-to-day affairs of the empire. These officials were appointed based on merit rather than birth, and their role in the centralization of power was critical. By promoting individuals based on their abilities, Murad ensured that the empire's administration was run by competent and capable people who were loyal to the central government. This professional class of administrators helped to improve the efficiency of the empire's bureaucracy, making it easier to govern vast regions and maintain control over diverse populations. In addition to these reforms, Murad I also focused on strengthening the empire's legal system. He implemented a more standardized set of laws that applied across the empire, making it easier to administer justice and ensure that all subjects were treated fairly. The centralization of the legal system also helped to reduce corruption, as local judges were now required to follow a set of consistent guidelines rather than making arbitrary decisions based on personal biases. Through these reforms, Murad I was able to build a more centralized and efficient Ottoman state, one that could effectively govern its territories and defend them from external threats. His reforms in both the military and administration ensured that the Ottoman Empire would be able to continue its expansion and maintain its power for centuries to come. Murad's military reforms created a highly disciplined and professional army, while his administrative reforms helped to create a more unified and effective system of governance. The Janissary Corps and the centralized bureaucracy would become pillars of the Ottoman state, and their legacy would shape the empire for generations. Murad I's reforms, both military and administrative, were instrumental in shaping the future of the Ottoman Empire, setting the stage for its transformation into one of the most powerful and enduring empires in history. These changes had lasting effects not only during his reign, but also in the centuries that followed. While Murad's successors, particularly his son Bayezid I, would build upon and refine these reforms, Murad's establishment of the Janissary Corps and his centralization of the empire's governance ensured that the Ottoman Empire would remain strong and cohesive for generations. The Janissary Corps, created by Murad I, became a symbol of the empire's military might. Though initially composed of young boys taken from Christian communities, this elite force evolved over time, becoming a permanent fixture in Ottoman society. They played a crucial role in the empire's military campaigns, particularly during the Battle of Kosovo in 1389, where the Ottomans defeated a Serbian army, solidifying Murad I's legacy as a military strategist. The Janissaries also influenced Ottoman culture, politics, and society in ways that extended beyond the battlefield. Their loyalty to the Sultan and their highly disciplined nature made them an essential element of the state's power structure. One of the most profound impacts of Murad I's military reforms was the professionalization of the Ottoman army. Before Murad's changes, the Ottoman military was based on a feudal system that relied on tribal and local militias. However, with the establishment of the Janissary Corps, the Ottoman Empire shifted to a more centralized military force that was always ready to act in the service of the Sultan. This professional army enabled the empire to expand rapidly, securing its territories from Europe to the Middle East and North Africa. The Janissaries became the backbone of the empire's military strategy and were a crucial part of its successes in the centuries following Murad's reign. Murad's focus on centralizing power through the restructuring of the Ottoman bureaucracy also had long-term effects on the governance of the empire. By placing greater control in the hands of centrally appointed officials, Murad laid the foundation for a more efficient and unified administration. This allowed the empire to maintain its vast territories, ensuring that the Sultan's rule extended from the capital to the furthest corners of the empire. Murad's system of taxation and governance was highly effective, enabling the empire to raise funds for military campaigns, infrastructure projects, and the payment of civil servants. It also reduced corruption by ensuring that local rulers were held accountable to the central government, promoting fairness and equality across the empire. The centralization of governance also helped to stabilize the Ottoman Empire, particularly during times of crisis. While local uprisings and rebellions were not uncommon in the empire's long history, the centralized structure that Murad implemented made it easier for the Sultan to respond quickly and decisively to any challenges. The loyalty of the Janissaries and the professional bureaucracy ensured that the Sultan's power was not easily undermined by rebellious provincial leaders or external threats. Murad I's reforms also set the stage for the expansion of the empire in the centuries that followed. His establishment of a standing professional army and a centralized administrative structure allowed the Ottomans to continue their military campaigns and maintain control over their territories. His successors, including Suleiman the Magnificent, would inherit and further develop the military and administrative systems that Murad put in place. The Janissaries would remain a central part of the Ottoman military until the early 19th century, and the centralized bureaucracy would continue to shape the empire's governance well into the 20th century. Beyond his military and administrative achievements, Murad I also left a cultural legacy that shaped the Ottoman Empire's identity. The Janissaries, originally made up of Christian boys, were often taken from ethnically diverse regions, such as the Balkans and the Caucasus, bringing with them different cultural influences. As a result, the Janissaries played a role in promoting a sense of Ottoman unity across diverse ethnic and religious groups. Over time, the Janissaries became an important cultural institution within the empire, representing the empire's ability to integrate diverse peoples under a single unified state. This helped to solidify the notion of the Ottoman identity, which was crucial to the empire's cohesion and longevity. In addition to his military and administrative reforms, Murad II's reign also saw the expansion of the empire into new territories, further solidifying the Ottomans' dominance in the region. Under his leadership, the Ottomans captured significant territories in the Balkans, including Serbia, and expanded their influence over the Bosnian and Albanian regions. These territorial gains were critical in establishing the Ottoman Empire as a dominant power in southeastern Europe. By the time of Murad I's death in 1389, the empire was a formidable force, and the groundwork for future successes had been firmly established. Murad's influence extended beyond his own reign, as his policies shaped the Ottoman Empire for centuries. His focus on centralized power and the creation of a professional military ensured that the empire could maintain its position as a dominant force in the region. The Janissary Corps, the professional army he founded, continued to play a key role in Ottoman military operations, and the bureaucratic structures he introduced remained in place for centuries. Murad's reforms created a system of governance and military organization that would sustain the empire's power throughout the medieval and early modern periods. The long-term impact of Murad I's reforms cannot be overstated. The creation of the Janissaries, the centralization of the Ottoman state, and the professionalization of the military and bureaucracy laid the foundation for the empire's future success. These reforms were not only essential for the empire's expansion and military prowess, but also crucial in maintaining its stability and cohesion for generations. The Ottomans would go on to become one of the most powerful empires in history, largely due to the vision and leadership of Murad I. His legacy can be seen in the lasting impact of his military and administrative reforms, which continued to shape the empire long after his death.